All right. Hello again, everybody from all over the world, from another galaxies, the planet. Finally, we're going to have Nancy any moment. Something happened with previous connection. I don't know what was wrong, but now we're going to have her. She just have to. Here you go. She's here.
Okay.
Hey, hello again.
Try this again.
Yeah, finally we same planet right now and the same universe, the same consciousness.
Right, right. You never do.
I like your UFO in the corner.
Thank you. Yeah.
uh, okay, so first of all, I want to welcome you to UFO Disclosure Bulgaria. Yeah, first time in UFO Disclosure Bulgaria in YouTube, and right now we're streaming live also to YouTube. So
Awesome.
everybody, I mean, I'm recording also, but also it's streaming in YouTube. Really, I'm very happy to meet you. Uh, uh, yeah, I have your bio, but can you share a little bit with yourself, and then I have a lot of questions.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. My name is Nancy Thames. I am a lifelong contactee with interdimensional beings and positive extraterrestrials. I'm 63 years old, and this has been happening all my life. And my first conscious memories are as far back as I can remember are from about 2 years old, somewhere between 2 and 3. And what how it works for me is there was always they would send 3 hybrid grays to get me, one being a female, and I was bonded to her. She has always and still is the one that comes for me, and she is accompanied by 2 other grays that I really don't even know and I don't communicate with. It's always her. So she is of a reddish brown color. She's about 4 feet tall. She has really not a lot of personality. She's very task oriented. She and I have a very close attachment bond and a love bond. I feel very, very attached to her, and I know that she does to me. Our communication is telepathic, but when she uh, gives me messages or directions or whatever, in the sound I hear in my mind, it is neither male or female, and it has no inflection in it. It's very bland or basic, and it's to the point usually. There's it's different than a human being. So, but we are very, very attached to each other, and I know now throughout the years that I have figured out and have been told she's been with me since birth. So all my life, when I was little, when I was young, and the world around me had not influenced me, I did not see this as a scary thing, and it was a very playful event, and I enjoyed it. They made it fun. They always wanted me to feel comfortable. As I got older, say getting close to my 12, 13 teenage years, because of the society and the world around me, and also my family, when I would talk about beings in my room, they would tell me that silly talk. You're having a very crazy dream. We don't want to hear about that. People don't want to talk about things like that. And that they had put people in the crazy house for having these kind of topics and conversations. So I learned at a very young age to keep my mouth shut. It made better peace within the family and with going to Girl Scouts, going to school, going to churches, different things, having a normal life. I realized that this was not a topic. I grew up in Tennessee and this area is considered the Bible Belt, and it was not something that you would bring up to anybody at all.
I
So,
understand.
yeah. So, when I was young and stuff, it always confused me because when they would come for me, and even when I got a little wary of what was happening, because I realized this was not something that was happening to other people. So I would become a little more fearful and have a little anxiety. And it's changed, the format of them coming to get me and how they took me to craft and whatever I became more aware of. I didn't have it didn't seem as playful, so I would purposely keep my eyes closed. I have the ability that before they get to me, I know that they are coming. I can feel it. It's a frequency exchange. I know that they're coming. And I would just keep my eyes closed and keep covers up close around my neck. And I don't know if they were telling me telepathically to keep my eyes closed because they thought that might help me better, or if I just did that on my own. Could have been a combination. But I would feel the covers being drawn off, and then I would feel the device never touched my body, but they handheld a device, and it was a scanner type device, and they would take it and run it from head to toe, toe to head, head to toe, back and forth for a period of time. And then I would start to feel my body start to elevate, lift off the bed. So at this point, I would open my eyes and look around me, and I would look down and see that this was physically happening to me. This was not a dream. This was not an out of body experience. The bed was empty, and I would be holding her hand, the female gray. I would be holding her hand, and then she would lead me up through the ceiling or through a door or through a window and take me towards craft and to craft. And so I can remember getting up through the ceiling and looking around and seeing the insulation or the insides of an attic and thinking, wow, this is real. And, she could sense everything that I think being telepathic, but she never gave me any explanations in my younger years as to how or why these things were happening. And I also realized too that as we were approaching a craft from afar, it looked like it was about the size of half of a American football field. But when we stepped into craft, everything changed. It was humongous. It was much, much bigger than what I had seen from the outside.
Yeah, I heard that from other people who had that experience like yours. Clifford
Yeah.
Stone, I don't know if you heard that name. He shared once that during this retrieval stuff, he said the craft was small, and but because it was something open, and when he went in, the it looks huge. I mean,
Yeah.
it's huge. And another boy from Bulgaria. I'm from Bulgaria,
Yes.
but I live in US. This boy, when I met him, he was 14 years old. Probably now he's about 30 years old, and he tell me a story with an encounter with UFO and people. I call them people from the space. He said, I mean, that craft was small, and they invite me to go in. And when he go in, he said it was a huge. So many
Yeah.
people have that experience.
Yeah. I don't know the answers to everything, but it could be that we're stepping into a different dimension. I don't know. Yeah, I know that what we see in our 3D world, that we are not seeing everything around us. There's things going on all around us. And as we reach higher consciousness, we will start to become more aware of the world around us and life around us that we don't see right now. So it was amazing. But the main thing is that I didn't understand because our physics says that we cannot go through a ceiling or through a door or through a window. But I now understand when they were standing over me with a device. Humans are, us being in a 3D world, we are at a much lower frequency than extraterrestrials or interdimensional. So what they were doing, they were changing my frequency, elevating it to match theirs. And once they got me to their same level, I could travel as they do. And that's what they were doing, is changing my vibrational frequency higher and then taking me up to craft that way.
Uh,
Yeah.
excuse me to interrupt you again, but I'm listening very careful what you say.
Mhm.
What about, because they have this knowledge how to manipulate the time and space? What about if they change your physical body somewhere so you can pass through the walls or going
If
through the ceiling?
if if they changed, I don't think it was like what we see on Star Trek where you know, like a particle beam or whatever. I I don't know everything, and I do not pretend to know everything, but I know that everything, as we reach higher frequencies, higher levels of consciousness, these are not physical places. Higher dimensions and things are not physical places. It's higher realms of consciousness. So I think they were just elevating my frequency, and that opened up my consciousness and my ability to do more things. And it's just like when they travel in their spacecraft are living conscious beings. They do not run on fuel or propulsion systems like we think. We try to humanize everything. There is nothing human about what, in their reality, there is nothing human. They are billions of years ahead of us in evolution. And through evolution, they have reached such a high level of consciousness and frequency. They are the technology. There is nothing else aside from them that they use. They are the technology. They use their consciousness and frequencies to transverse over different universes. And there is no such thing as time. Time is a human invented concept. There is no such thing in time. So when we are in their reality, everything is happening all at once. So it may seem like I am there for a day or two, but when we come back to Earth, it may be only 10 or 5 minutes. There
Mhm.
is no such thing with them. Everything's happening all at once. It's a hard thing for humans to understand, but there is no humanizing anything about a race of beings that are billions of years ahead of us in evolution.
What
So,
is the, yeah, what is the difference? Because so far right now we know that there's 47 different kind of extraterrestrials visiting our planet. The other side, there's a interdimensional, multidimensional beings. So what is the difference between the extraterrestrials
and
and, yeah,
well, extraterrestrials come within our galaxy. They're within our galaxy. Interdimensionals are on different dimensions, which are not physical places. These are places that we visibly can't see, but it could be from other galaxies or other universes. And we don't even have words for, there is no translation of exactly where
I
they're
understand.
from in human words. There is no translation, but the differences are, they are of higher consciousness, higher, they are of higher thinking, higher knowledge. So they can do in what these other lower realm extraterrestrials cannot do. And as far as how many are there, there are so many within each race. For example, the grays, there's over 63 different races of grays. and they
Mhm.
are different heights, different colors, and come from different regions. And each race has a particular function, and they all belong to have a type of hive mind and belong to a collective consciousness. But there was one race years back that elected to go off and form their own road league because they wanted to come down to Earth, and they worked with different fractions of our government at one time and did genetic experiments on humanity. Then this race was excommunicated from the collective consciousness of the other positive extraterrestrials and interdimensionals because that oversteps a boundary of the cosmic law that you do not interfere with humans. We are here on free will. And they didn't think that they were doing anything wrong, but in the cosmic law, they were. They overstepped the boundary. So when they did this, that isolated them from the rest of the collective minds of which are a great number and of higher technology. So, and they picked out people randomly. That particular one race, they wanted to do genetic research for whatever reason. Most of what you hear is misinformation. I think it really happened to people. It did not happen to me. But that's a different race. And I sometimes call them negative, but I don't like to call them negative because in their eyes, they were not doing anything wrong. It was really no different than what our zoologists or our uh,
Scientists.
scientists do when we go out into the wild and we tag birds and animals or collect blood or whatever. It's really no different. But from the human perspective, we want to see it as something awful and bad. So that's why I say a lot of people that had that experience misunderstood it because of the fear factor. And when you're scared to death, nothing makes sense to you. And your perspective on the situation is jilted and influenced by that fear.
When we're talking about the interdimensional, multidimensional, do you think we can make a connection with spirituality of human? I mean, like human spirituality, not religion.
Oh, I'm a
Spirit.
spiritual person. I'm not a
Yeah,
religious person.
yeah.
They have helped me reach spiritual growth. And that's what we are all doing here on earth right now is we are all approaching a evolutionary process and are reaching higher spiritual and higher consciousness and higher vibrational frequencies. We are moving from this 3D world into a fourth dimension, which will not happen like that. It happens so slow and gradual that by the time we're finally all there, it will seem like we've always been this way because that's the way, just like our earth was created, just like all the birds and animals, everything on our planet and our bodies were created. It was with intentional, beautiful design. And this is part of that evolutionary process is to us to move up on the scale of intelligence and reach a higher level of consciousness.
And if I understand correctly, uh, extraterrestrials is some kind of low level of intelligence compare with the interdimensional, multidimensional. Maybe the beings in interdimensional, multidimensional, maybe they are more like energy beings, consciousness beings.
Yes, they are. Um, their spiritual and evolutionary levels are much higher. Their their higher consciousness, all of them are way ahead of us, and none of them are warlike. Not to say that a long, long time ago they overcame these things, but by purely the evolutionary processes, they have learned to walk away from warlike ways and learn to walk away from negative ideas and learn to pursue their progression in a more positive, beautiful way, and where they are the technology. You know, it's a it's a it's a process that, and we're just on the very precipice of it. We're just in the beginning stages of blooming out and figuring out these things ourselves.
Can we
Yeah.
say that planet the Earth was made basically for us to come here and to have different experience, to grow spiritually, and
Yes.
to make finally that connection with
Yes.
multidimensional world? Or
Exactly.
maybe there are three or maybe more different kind of levels of multidimensional worlds.
They have been waiting on us from the very beginning to get to this evolutionary stage. So when that one rogue race was down here doing technology exchange with governments and whoever, these dark governments, the elites, the cabal, Illuminati, whoever,
Yeah.
I don't know everything, but they were doing an exchange. So when interdimensionals and the positive extraterrestrials realized that humanity was waking up and becoming of higher consciousness, they started coming around our planet and in our galaxies in great numbers and in huge motherships. And they told these uh, so-called negative or the rogue races that were not working to benefit humanity to leave us alone and get out of the way. And I'm going to say this all started around, I can't tell you the exact date, time, or whatever, but somewhere in the neighborhood of 2019 to 20. And when they told them, leave us alone, and started coming down, I saw video footage of mass numbers of craft leaving our planet because most of them know they cannot compete with the grand number of positive and interdimensionals, and they started leaving. However, some are still here. And that's part of the reason why we have that war going on. And they're hanging in here, doing everything to try to make this transition and humanity's acceptance of the positives as hard as possible, because they have been in power and in control over us for eons. They have manipulated human beings for a very long time. Uh,
But
so
that happened from extraterrestrials, not from multidimensional.
exactly, but that was also a part of human beings, the elites that wanted to stay in control, that have control over pharmaceutical companies, have control over the oil industries, have control over the governments, power banking systems, religious systems, power players that manipulate our government officials and us as a population, and manipulate us and purposely kept us at a dumbed down, lower consciousness and wanted us to be an unhealthy race and an unwise race. And they have done this for generations. This has been done. So we are waking up and realizing that this programming and these ways of living are no longer serving us, or no longer serving humanity. Our religious systems are breaking down. Our banking systems are breaking down. People are realizing that these synthetic drugs aren't necessarily working for us. So they've basically just been waiting for us to figure out that we have been manipulated and controlled, that we should have no racism. That was done intentionally to keep humanity separated. Because once we reach higher intelligence and consciousness, realize our best option is to come together as one, which we were intended to be, and come together in unity in grand numbers. There is no stopping humanity. There is no stopping us. And they've always known this, and they've done everything to prevent it. Our food has toxins in it. Our water has toxins in it. Our air has chemtrails, toxins in it. All these things, our media is bought out and thrown negativity in there to keep humanity separated and to keep us in despair, keep us in fear, keep us always stirred up, and to keep us from being intelligent enough to understand that we were being manipulated. So, and also, I was told and was shown by the interdimensionals when we were created here on this planet, and this planet was put together, everything on this planet is one. Everything on this planet is connected. I'm talking about nature. I'm talking about the air, the water. Everything is all connected. So whatever we do will affect the nature, the balance of the planet. It will ripple out into the universe because we are at one with the universe and with interdimensionals and extraterrestrials because they played a part in our creation. So what if, as above, so below? So what if, what when we play with nuclear weapons, not only could it wipe us out, but it interferes with the balance of nature and would destroy it. It interferes with the balance of planet Earth and would destroy it, which will ripple into space and have its effects of negative everything. We're all connected, we're all one, and whatever we do affects everything.
Yeah. I have a question. I'm very straight with my idea about this. I'm going to ask you now. I think is a huge myth and foolishness when some people say that Anunnaki was our creators. I think
No,
this is super foolishness. What do you think about that?
they were not the only race there. It's a good book, and it sold lots of books. I love reading it. I thought it was fascinating, and I do believe that they were real, and I do believe that some of the stories are good. But I also know that the timelines cannot be correct because there was, from what I've been told by the interdimensionals, there were many, many races that had a part. We are a combination of many, many races, not one race at all. And there were many civilizations. The pyramids were there long before the Egyptians ever got there. There was very high technology races that we have been lied to about. We do not know our true heritage. We do not know the true history of our planet. And most of it we have been lied about because, for whatever reason, the ones in high power do not want us to know where we come from, do not want us to know the true history of our planet. They want us to think this is it. This is all that there is. And that is
Yeah.
simply not true.
Uh, Actually, I'm thinking lately about when I'm looking all these races in our planet. We have Asians, we have black people, we have white people. And one day I said, maybe Japanese or Chinese, they different. I mean, not extraterrestrials, but maybe came from another planet, or I don't know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's many different races out there. The ones that we know of are the ones that they've allowed us to know about, but there's many, many different races. And there were many different races interacting with Earth and doing things to help us. And then at some point they decided to leave us alone and let us flourish on our own because if the stories are true, some of those races long ago had different feelings about how humanity, what road they wanted it to take. So basically, that's why a cosmic law, I'm sure, was designed saying, leave them alone, let them flourish on their own and work out their own ways and stuff. And they left us for a period of time. But they have been visiting our planet. They've always kept an eye on us. And, you know, the Greys are not the only ones that have taken people, and people that have talked about having relationships with different other beings. And I'm not, you know, it's not my experience. So
Yeah.
it's that's their story. And, you know, it's probably true, because every race, just like human beings, some wish to see humanity flourish and join the cosmic realm, and some like us being dumb and stuck down here doing nothing,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
understand. Okay, next question is how the government or Department of Defense find you. Did they connect you or there was another story?
I am 63 years old, and all my life, I never understood a lot of this. But as I've gotten older and with their help, I know now that everything that I've experienced, good or bad, and I've had many bad things happen, just as many as I've had good things happen. But that's part of being a human. That's part of having the human experience here. So they wanted me, they opened opportunities and doors for me because they wanted me to have these experiences. If the military knew about my, I
Yeah,
don't know.
that was my
I,
question.
yeah,
How they
I don't
know
know.
about you?
I don't know. You know, what I did in the military, I was in the dental field, and I worked on at Schofield Barracks in Hawaii and on Oahu. And I was in dentistry, and we were basically getting soldiers ready in good medical and dental health to deploy for, you know, 2 years in Afghanistan and places. And I had to have a security clearance because I work with the commander of the Pacific Rim over medical and dental. I work with him, and I work with all these officers and generals and stuff. So we really didn't talk about extraterrestrials or anything like that. It was, you know, but I was around a lot of high tech technology that the everyday public or general practices didn't have in their facilities, basically because of the cost of it. I saw a lot of 3D imaging and things like that. So it had its perks and stuff. So for whatever reason, they wanted me to have that experience and, you know, be a part of that. I don't know, you know, and I learned a lot and I loved it. And it has helped me a lot to understand certain things. Yeah.
Okay. I ask you that because I mentioned about Clifford Stone. We've been friends for 9 years. Unfortunately, he passed away. I know his story. He said when he was a child, probably 6, 7 years old, he been in the post office, and this old times in the post office is like a store, and everybody like ice cream with root beer.
Yeah.
And he was in that store post office, and he had an interest about these comics about UFO space, and he started looking one of these magazines, and then one man come to him. He don't know him. He said he was a tall. I mean, he's a kid, so of course he's tall. And he asked him, uh, "Do you believe in UFO? Do you like this magazine?" And Clifford said, "Yes, I believe it." And this man, he said, "Yes, I believe too." And then he offered him to buy this magazine and ice cream with root beer. He said, "My parents, they not allowed me to take anything from strangers." And this man had said, "Okay, I'll come with you to your home and I'll tell your parents that is my gift for you." So this man, during the old years when Clifford grew up, because he had a lot of experience with different stuff in paranormal also, and when he became probably 18 years old, he was taken in the army because this man, he still keep connection with him time to time during all these years. And this man, the stranger, actually is colonel from United States Air Force, which
Wow.
have dealing with uh, some extraterrestrial beings.
Yes.
And that was amazing. And I asked him, I asked Clifford how he know about you. So that's why I'm asking you how government make that connection with you, and you don't know, and he don't know.
Exactly. I mean, I do know when I was living in Australia, I lived way up on a mountain. It was called Mount Me, and it was in Queensland, and it was 2.5 hours away from the nearest city. It was pretty much, it was in the mountains, so it wasn't really outback, but it was kind of outback in the fact that it was not commercialized, and it was, we had to go down and get supplies because we were 2.5 hours away. We had to have things, and we collected rainwater, and we had to carry our own garbage off. There wasn't, garbage pickups, or it was very isolated and secluded and very suburban, I guess. So anyway, when I was living up there, I sensed a presence, and I woke up, and it was very, very different experience. But long story short, I ended up on a craft, and I woke up, and there were human females around me, and there were some grays around me. And these were not any grays that I had ever been around. And they were running around in a frenzy, and they were screaming, "Send her back, send her back." So I think that was a military attempt, along with some of those negative grays that was working with government, and they were attempting to abduct me, and they got me on craft. But once the grays were around, or the whoever, they realized that my frequency was different and that I belonged to the interdimensional. So they sent me back immediately.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what is the last message you receive about the planet Earth? Are we going to destroy our planet, or probably we have another option?
They love our planet and everything on it. They will not let us destroy our planet. It could be that something might have to happen to fully wake up humanity to accept the fact we are not alone in the universe. We have never been alone. Um, I hope that nothing like that were to ever happen, but I do know it would not be a teetotal devastation or anything like that. And I also know that they are surrounding us, and they're putting in frequencies of unity, of love, and they are enhancing and helping us as much as they can assist us. But with us being here on free will, they're limited as to what they can come down here and do. People don't realize, they'll say, well, if they have all this knowledge, technology, etc., why don't they come down here and cure all diseases? Well, people are here on earth by free will. And before we got here, we all made soul contracts. We are here for a purpose. Unfortunately, we don't remember who we were before we got here. And we are programmed to believe that this is it. When this life is over, this is it. And that is simply not true. Our soul and our consciousness are not in an organ in our body. They reside outside. This is a vessel that we live in. And when we cease to live here on earth, our soul and our consciousness goes back up to the creator source. By the way, interdimensionals and extraterrestrials believe in a creator source, and they all have souls. So we, before we get here, have made soul contracts on what we want to experience, or whatever. Everybody has their own social, spiritual path design. So they cannot overstep what we have created for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I know through a vision and through them telling me, I was an interdimensional before I came to Earth. And I agreed to come here and be here at this pivotal moment for humanity to help and assist. Because this is the biggest thing that has happened to human beings since our creation. This is it. This is big. This is worldwide. This is not about me. This is not about the United States or any particular countries. This is a worldwide phenomenon, and it's affecting everyone. So we are all one, and we are all connected. And they love everything on our planet, the trees. And our trees are living conscious beings. And they've showed me visions, and I saw trees talking and communicating to each other. And basically, all these things have been waiting for humans to wake up and
Mm-hmm.
become who we were meant to be, not what we've been programmed to and have become, but who we truly are. So I think we should all look within, ask our subconscious minds to open up into our human consciousness and give us the knowledge that we know inside, help us to realize who we truly are. For me, I said, I want to know the true Nancy. I want to know my soul self, the one that came here with a purpose, that came here to experience what is my purpose here, not the Nancy that the world around me has programmed to think I am. So that's the message. And here's the kicker. We are the disclosure. Humanity is the disclosure. And when we reach that level of higher consciousness and we become aware of the world around us and our place in it and what our true origins are, we will not need our government to tell us, hey, there's aliens. Hey, there's extraterrestrials. Hey, there's life out there. We will already know it. We are the disclosure. We, humanity, not me, not anybody, the world. We all chose to be here at this time, and we're all a part of this.
Yeah. Time for disclosure. Time for change.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, so we have some watchers right now, and we have.
Okay.
I left my phone number 903-239-2122. So now is the time for questions. And I know that Kat, I believe she's still watching it. So Kat, free. You're very welcome and free to call if you're still there, or anybody. Oh, honestly, that was. I'm really very happy to have this conversation with you. Um, the streaming. You answered some of my questions I had in my mind, and I would like to keep in touch. And I'm so during this conversation with you, I thinking for another friend from UK. And I think that will be very nice conversation with her and with you together. And I have to arrange that meeting
I
in
would
the
love
close
that.
future. Yes, she has a lot of experiences. Do you know? Do you have any knowledge uh, or about walk-ins?
I personally, I know of walk-ins. I've never personally asked the question one way or the other, so I don't know, I don't know everything.
Yeah, I
I'll be
understand.
the first to tell you that I'm here having a human experience, and my human experience is just as important as my extraterrestrial or interdimensional experiences. But right now, I'm a mother and a grandmother, and I love my life here, and I'm happier than I ever been because I know who I am. You
Yeah.
know, I know who I am, and I know what my purpose here is, and it is to help humanity and to witness the changes that are going to happen for us, and it's going to be for the better.
How you feel during this interdimensional contacts?
I absolutely love it.
What is your feelings? What is your
Love,
how you
love
feel emotionally about this?
the frequency for me. The frequency exchange, because of them being of much higher frequency, is nothing like you'll ever experience ever here on Earth. Even like getting on a roller coaster and getting that big loopity loop feeling.
Yeah.
This is overwhelming, almost euphoric feeling, utterly the most loving, overwhelming. You feel like your soul, or you've melted right into to them. It's like you are one. It's amazing. You know,
Hmm.
it's a it's a beautiful thing. But when it takes a while to get used to this, because our brains, we don't know, we don't understand these things. It's different. So we have to,
Okay, we have one visitor from California. Kat, you can give you a question now.
yeah.
Hold, 1 moment, 1 moment. Okay, go now.
Hey, Nancy. I know you from Facebook. This is Rev Cat Carol. And I'm enjoying the heck out of your conversation because I agree with you on pretty much everything.
Hi,
The
Kat.
question, which I left in the chat, but you wouldn't get that till later, is do you think these interdimensional beings are the celestials, the angels that are etheric, and that's why they're not physical and why they're not seen here? And is that where we are going now collectively as a species? Are we ascending to become etheric again?
I know that there's angelic realms and then there's interdimensional realms. And for me, they are physical.
I can't hear her.
But most of the time, I am on their craft. I have seen them, they have visited me in places that they needed to communicate with me. But I do know that they can also, they are just so advanced, they can change their image, they can be invisible. It's amazing. But I want to say, because when I'm on craft and stuff, I can touch them. I can physically interact with them. So for me, they're physical.
I'm sorry, I cut the cat because it's Bluetooth. It's connecting with my phone, and I'm losing your contact with your audio. Cat, you can text. I'm sorry. You can text if you want, if you're okay with this answer.
I know her. I've known her for a long time. We have never met in person, but we have always bonded. And yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. I mean, I know her for maybe 6 years, something like this, and I met her twice.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's very nice lady, and I love
Yes.
her, and we're very good friends, and
Awesome.
we
That was
talk
amazing.
frequently.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it was so cool to connect with her. That's amazing.
yeah. Okay, so anyway, um, thank you again for your time to be with us. Thank you
Anytime.
for all this information you share with us, and I apologize for that delay. Maybe when the right time it's come, the right moment, that everything will be possible and will happen.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you again, and we'll keep in touch. And
Okay.
next time, probably maybe Kat will be okay also to participate
That would be
uh,
fun.
with that lady from UK and you.
Oh, I would love that. That would be
Yeah.
amazing. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you again, and have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Peace to everyone.